All right, let's talk about markers in Pro Tools and specifically how to get your markers to follow along with your clips. All right, so I have some videos that we've done in the past that are all about markers in Pro Tools. I might find them and link to them either in the cards or in the description below so you can check it out. There might be more detail on some other aspects of markers in those videos, but today I want to talk about a few things that have to do with the timeline markers and the track markers in Pro Tools. So you can see here, I have a marker right here. It says 1, start. This is just my example session for YouTube. So I have this marker here. I also can create another marker. I'll show you how to do this in a second, but there are also things called track markers. So right now, this one is a track marker and this one's a timeline marker. So timeline markers, they display over the whole session. See how it's the whole length of the session here. And then track markers are just for the specific track that they're on. So it's now 2 types of markers. We didn't used to have that. We used to just have the timeline markers. If you are not seeing your markers, then you can hide or display them. You just want to go to this drop down up here and click on it, and you can either hide or display them. So we can have multiple markers, rulers here in our timeline. So you notice as I click to hide or display it, it hides or displays this ruler here. So watch this part that's below the orange. That's our ruler for our markers. Cool. Another thing to check that I'm going to show you here, and you might not have it displaying, is if you click on this drop down here, we have our marker control. So you'll notice as I click that and bring it in and out, this section here is hiding and displaying. So watch this section here. It will hide and display. So let's make sure that we have that active in our Pro Tools if we're following along. All right, so if we want to make a marker, there are a few ways to do it. So I'll show you the slow way first. First, we can click on this plus sign here to make a new marker. I like to look at the number for the marker and then put that at the beginning and then call it whatever it is. So like intro or verse or chorus or what have you. You can also put comments for your marker. So I'm going to do comment 1, just so I can show you something here in a second. We can also, if we want to make a track marker really quickly, we can go to these controls here and click the plus here. Same idea. So I like to do the number and then, whatever it's called. And so now we have our markers created on both types of markers here. Another way that you can make the markers, and this is how I do it, is you can hit enter on your numeric keypad and you can just hit enter twice to make one really quickly. That works while you're playing back and recording. So if you want to really quickly drop a marker in a very specific location, that's what I would do. I would just hit enter on the numeric keypad twice. If you're on, for example, a laptop and you don't have the numeric keypad, you don't have one of these larger keyboards, right, with the numeric keypad on the right, then what you can do is you can hold function and hit return, and that'll be the same as hitting the enter on the numeric keypad. So for any of these shortcuts, you can do function return to create one, or the other thing you can do, because enter on the numeric keypad just creates a timeline marker. But what we want to do, if we want to do a track marker, for example, is we can do command and then hit the enter on the numeric keypad, and that'll create a track marker for you. So if you're on a laptop and you don't have the numeric keypad, it's going to be function command and then return to make the track marker, okay? And you'll notice that it's dropping that marker on, let me select over here, for example. So if I'm going to put my cursor here just as an example, and I'm going to do command and then hit return to create that track marker. And you'll notice it goes onto the track that I have the nameplate highlighted for. So when you have a range of nameplates like I had a moment ago, it'll put it on the track at the top. And when you have just one nameplate selected, it's going to go on whatever that track is. So you'll notice even though my cursor's up here, it put it down on this track for me. But you can also drag them around. It's not a huge deal. It's kind of easy to move them around. So you can move them around. I'm in grid mode, so it's snapping to the grid. We can do that with both types of markers. If we want to delete a marker, we can hold Option or Alt if you're on Windows, and that'll delete markers for you. You can also, like I think I might have showed you already, but you can also drag them down to tracks here so they can go between timeline and track markers. They can kind of be shifted back and forth very easily. And if you double click on a marker, you can edit the details here, right? So you can change the color, you can add comments, you can do stuff like that. Comments too. I don't know why I made that plural. And you'll notice here when it's a timeline marker, it says absolute. And if I then drag that down to be a track marker and then go to edit it, it says follow track time base. So that's something to note. They do operate slightly differently. So they are slightly different in function and form beyond just where they're located. And I'll show you what I think of as the biggest difference here in a second. Now, another thing that I think is kind of cool, I'm just going to kind of drop some timeline markers here. is if you go to your ruler for your markers, if you hit tab, it will jump to the next marker for you. So notice how my cursor is jumping. So it's at 6 right now, blinking here. And if I hit tab, it jumps to 9. So it's just like when we use tab to jump around with different clips in Pro Tools, you can use tab to jump between markers. You can also use option tab to jump backwards. So see how my cursor is moving backwards? Now it's at this first marker here. And you can use shift in conjunction with those two shortcuts. So shift tab will highlight forward, and you'll notice it's adjusting my timeline highlight here. So up here, these two blue, it's highlighting my timeline. I do not have edit and timeline linked right now, so it is not also affecting the edit highlight, but if I had it linked, it would be operating that way, right? It would do both of them. You can also do option shift tab to highlight backwards, right? And you can do that with our track markers as well. So tab to jump, shift tab to get a range going here. So I can quickly get a chunk of audio. I just hit the P on my numeric keypad because P and semicolon goes down, P goes up, and retains your highlight. So that's another shortcut that I love that I've shared a lot in this channel. So you can use tab to move back and forth between your markers, whether those are track markers or timeline markers. Another thing that's kind of cool, and this is why I made comments earlier on some of these markers, is so I can show you this, is that you can hide and display those comments really quickly. So actually, I think some of these were newer, so they don't really have comments. So let me add like comment, cool. I'm just going to add some comments to some of these, right? Just so you can kind of see this. I'm going to add a comment, hi. And then I'm going to add, I don't know if this one has a comment yet. Comments. I'm just trying to make them a little different so that they kind of stand out as the comments that I made earlier. So for example, for our timeline markers here, if we go to the left of this ruler and we go here to this little icon, it's like a little chat bubble, and we click on it, it'll display those comments for us. And same thing for the individual tracks. If we click on the little comment bubble here, it'll show us those comments. So you can hide and display those really easily. It's kind of fun. Let's see if this one has any. Yeah, this one had a comment. So that's something that you can do really quickly to see your notes for why you made that marker, or, you know, whatever you end up putting in there. It's whatever works for you for your workflow, right? Now, another thing that can be useful, I don't use this that much. I'm going to hide these comments here. But another thing that can be kind of useful is you can go to your window menu up here on the top, and then you can go to memory locations right here. And you can see all your markers on a list here. And if you want to quickly, if we'll notice where my cursor is here, right? It's on 8. I'm going to click off of it just so it's not on any of these. But if you want to really quickly jump to a marker, you can just click on that marker and it'll jump your cursor to it. So that's something that's useful. It's a good way to kind of see all your markers in one spot, especially if you have a bigger session with a ton of markers. That's when I found this to be useful. I don't use this that much, but let me know if you want to dig into this a little bit more. I just wanted to point out that it's here in this video. Now, another thing that's kind of cool, I'm going to drop my cursor right here on this clip, and we're going to look at this marker here. So you'll notice if I hold Control and then I click on this marker, it's going to jump to wherever my cursor is. So this is a great way of having a little more control over where your markers are and quickly getting them where you want them to be. So one really handy way to use this is, like, let's say I want to put it at the beginning of this clip. I just use my grabber tool to grab the clip and then Control click, and now the marker's at the beginning of that clip. So you can use that shortcut to get your markers, the track markers, where you want them to be very quickly. And that's useful, especially like if you're in grid mode, like I tend to like to work in, and you're dropping markers while you're listening or while you're recording. If you want to quickly get it to the downbeat, for example, that's a really easy way to do that. All right, now here's why I wanted to make this video. I am making this video because a friend actually asked me about this, but it is, how do you get your markers to follow along with your edits, right? A lot of times we make markers to label something specific in the audio file, and we want it to be able to move with our audio file. But you'll notice if I break this apart and I move it, my marker stays right there. And I mean, that is so frustrating. And a lot of people don't realize that you can make your markers follow the clip, follow what you're editing. So I'm going to show you how to do that really quickly. So if you go up here to this button right here, you'll notice it's markers follow edit. So you can click on that to activate that mode. You can also go to the options menu and find it right here, markers follow edit. Just make sure it's checked off. And now what'll happen, this only works for our track markers. It does not work for our timeline markers, right? So this is something that's specific to track markers. And I think the logic on that is that our track markers are the ones that are associated with specific audio files, specific points in the audio, and it's not just labeling, for example, a section of a song or what have you. But if I go to move this now, it's going to move the marker with me. So if I'm, for example, like cutting down stuff and putting it together, I do that a lot with spoken word. This becomes really critical, right? Is being able to have these markers automatically move as you cut things down, trim out the bad takes, and put everything that's good together, right? So just make sure that you have that mode on and then it'll work for you. And remember, you can always click and drag your markers around if you realize they're slightly off from where you want them to be. But yeah, that's about it. That's all I wanted to share today. I hope someone finds this helpful. Let me know what you think. As always, please like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'd appreciate all of that stuff. I have a Patreon. It's patreon.com/Cato Noise, and my patrons get access to additional content. We have a Discord server we're hanging out on. We're doing a book club on the Discord server. It's all music production and audio engineering books. It's a ton of fun. So check that out if you feel so inclined. And other than that, I come out with new videos every Wednesday, and thank you so much for hanging out. Okay. All right, I'm going to go because I am so swamped. It's the weekend right now. I'm just trying to crank out as much work as possible here and get stuff done as quickly as possible because I got sick last month and I don't know what happened. I might have gotten slammed this month no matter what, whether I was sick or not, because I had some stuff planned for last month that helped me not fall behind as much with work. But I think I'm working on 16 songs right now and 2 spoken word projects. And then there's the YouTube stuff and everything too, if I can keep up with that. So I'm gonna go. And I hope you're all doing well. And I'll see you next time.